In 2024, email marketing is going to become even more difficult. So, if in 23 some of your emails were ending up in people's spam boxes and you kind of just sum that up to, oh, well, there's always a few, then 2024 is going to get even more difficult for you unless you take certain measures. And there are things that you can do. Now, if you are with one of these big companies that we all know and trust and love and been using for absolute ages, then you'll notice that they have been doing a few things to help you improve your deliverability. And one of those is that they've been asking you to add additional records to your DNS settings. And this is great. And the reason they've been asking you to do this is so the people that you're sending these emails to, their servers, so Google, Yahoo, Microsoft, they can realize the relationship between your email and the URL, and they can realize that it's coming from a trusted source. And that helps with your deliverability. But that is only one small part of the pie. And that's the issue with using one of these big email marketing companies, is they're not telling you exactly what you need to do. Yes, if you reach out to them and say, look, I'm going into spam, or how do I avoid it? They're going to send you to a Word document, which is going to try and tell you some steps that you need to be taken, but not really break it down enough. Email services in 2024 really need to take that additional step and support you along the way and be there to help make sure that you don't end up in people's spam boxes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to guide you through some of the steps that you should be taking. We're going to jump over to our CRM system, which I've narrowed down just to the email marketing stuff. And I'm going to show you how our system works and how you go about using it, or any system, to make sure that you avoid jumping into the spam box. So let's head over there now. So here you can see, first of all, the great thing about our CRM system, our email marketing system, even when you're just using email tools, it comes with a full contact list. Now, this is quite common in all the marketing tools, but this allows you to see all the people that are in your email marketing system. So you can see all the email address and telephone numbers if you collect them or anything else. Now with ours, because ours is a CRM system, even when you're just using the marketing tools, when you click into someone, you can see that it breaks down some more information. So in here, you can see the name, address, you can add the date of birth, contact lead, things like that. And that's some more additional general info. And we can also add any other additional tabs that you may need for your business so you can understand, including giving them the good old tags that we and other marketing softwares have been using for years. And though some people have came away from using tags, some systems, for me, tags are still here. I love tags. It really helps define who it is that you are speaking to, allows you to section your database, because that's one of the things that you need to be making sure that you do, is when you are sending out emails, that you send them to the most relevant people, because the amount of people that open your emails is important. It does become reflective of your open rates and your trusted and how trusted you are. Because if you send out 1,000 emails and let's say only 20 get opened and 980 don't, then that's quite bad. And people will see that as you sending out spam or unrelevant information, and it will harm your deliverability. So you really need to make sure that you get that right, and tags is a really good way of doing that. Here you can see all the information that comes in. So if you do send them an email, then the email that which you sent, even if it is automated, appears here. And then when they communicate back, it comes here as well. And in the conversation tabs just here, it shows you all the people that have replied to your emails. Now, this is important because just like when you're using any other tool, you might be using Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn, when you are putting out posts, when someone comments or messages you, that company wants to see you comment and message back. Because if you don't, then they deem you as not being engaging with that potential lead. And they're going to be like, well, we got you in front of them. They responded, you haven't. So why should we keep on getting you in front of them? And email marketing is the same. Let's start replying. So that person replies and build a conversation that helps with your credibility. So you got the conversation tool, which again is very unique to our platform here to have this. Now, there's two email sites here. We've got the marketing and the automation. Now, if I go into marketing just here, what we can do in our emails is build a newsletter. So as I say, I'll just go click on this newsletter just here in the email campaigns. You can create a template just here. And now you can see how this is quickly laid out. And again, this is just, it looks a bit of a mess just because it's a test template. If I just delete this and delete this, here we go. So we got our logo at the top. we got our header, and then we got all our text just here that, we can have our text, whatever we want that to be. Now, you can make this look really nice. You can give it colors, you can give it more images, and you can really make it look like those email marketing that you are getting or currently sending out. But one of the issues is if your stuff is going to junk, or you have a cold email address, you've just set it up and you haven't really sent out many marketing emails yet, which means that it hasn't got the credibility that it needs to get, then you really need to start stripping it back and avoiding anything that might look spammy. And the first thing to do is actually delete the images. So one of the things that you're going to do is delete any form of image and send it without image. I know you're going to be thinking, well, hold on, then it just looks like a bland newsletter. But actually, stats show that we're more likely to read it if it looks like a personalized email that's came from someone who's wrote it manually than something that looks like a highly creative and artistic newsletter. So although they do work, and although you probably should emulate it being able to get some photos in, to begin with, you want to avoid having any images in there whatsoever. And yes, that can mean not having the logo as well. So what you're going to do here is literally you would just kind of have your text, or just kick straight in with the header here. And this header really needs to be engaging, and so does the text. Now, when it comes to links as well, if you have got a cold email address, as I said, that hasn't got the sendability on it, or you are going into spam, then you need to avoid using direct links. So like I wouldn't put this, head to there. So I wouldn't put that in there because that can also hinder my deliverability. What I would do is make it a hyperlink just here and add that in there and turn that into, okay, it's not wanting that, HTTPS. There we go. Add that in there so it just sees it. So that there will help with my sendability, because when it sees a URL in the form like that, it sees it as a bit spammy. Particularly, definitely if you're going to use one of these third-party tools such as Bitly or TinyURL or something like that, then that can really hurt the sendability of your domain. Particularly with Google, what will happen is when your user receives it and they click on it, it will say this email contains unverified domain and is a dangerous email, and you probably should not open it. So it can be quite harmful to your reputation when sending out those emails. So to avoid that, what we do is try not to use links at all. But if we do have to use links, then we hyperlink it into here to avoid that happening. And same with buttons here. If you've got a button, then it can harm it. So sometimes we'll remove it. I say with buttons, always give it a try, see what happens. Do send tests to yourself and see how that comes out. Normally, if you use the test button up here, send test email, then it doesn't sometimes give the true reflection. So you sometimes have to go into send and schedule and send you the actual campaign as if you are sending it to other people. And then what you can do is once it sends, you can duplicate it. So once you've got your email set, you can send or schedule here, and you can start sending it out. Now, two things that you need to do is, if you've got lots of people that you're sending it to, like let's just say there's 500-600 people, do not press send now, because sending 500-600 people to all at once can harm your domain sendability. So the best thing to do is batch schedule it. So what I can do here is say I want this to start on the 14th of February, confirm that 10 a.m. and I want 50 to go out every hour. Until you've sent it to everyone. If it goes over to the next day, make sure that you start at 10 a.m. and whatever day it's sending out, make sure that you finish at 8 p.m. So I don't want them to go out there. And then the second thing I talked about was subject line here, and making sure that subject line is highly engageable, because I said you need to get people to open it. Now, if you're thinking, well, hold on, I've got a mixture of people. How do I send that out? What do I do? I've got some people in this category and some people in that category. Can I tweak it? Well, yes, you can. So what you can do down here is you can create multiple emails, and you can send to people who are in tags. There's also smart lists as well, which is another aspect of our CRM system, our email marketing tool. But you can send to tags, so you can send the email direct to certain people. Now, there is ways in our email system just here. So let's just say I wanted to use custom value just here, that I can change things. So you can see here, what I can say is hi contact, and first name just there. So it changes the first name to everybody that you are sending it to. And there are other things in here that you can send it to, that you can take account of, such as things they have done, custom fields that you've got linked to them, or the source. Or so, hi, I noticed that you came to us via Facebook or Instagram, if you've got the source label correctly, and that can change per person as well. So there's lots that you can do in here, but it's about stripping it back, sending out in batches, and making sure that you only send it to the relevant people, tweaking it and sending it to different people to make sure that you are sending it to the people that are most likely to open the email, and stripping it back so it gets through. Right, so I'm just going to go back to that. So that is in our email campaigns just there. Now, the other one that we got is in our automation and our workflows, which is here. And if I just click into emails for lead magnet, let's just say, here. So when someone, I'm just going to delete this one here. I've been playing around with this. We don't need that one. So when someone fills in a form there, form is download. What I can do is I say wait 5 minutes and then send them the first email. You don't have to have that wait 5 minutes, by the way, it's just me. And then here, subject, make sure the subject is highly engaging again and relevant to why they are there. And then as you can see here, my message here is very brief. Now, normally I would have a full sentence here, a full paragraph here, so I'd probably fill this out a little bit more. I just did this for test purposes. But what you can see I have done is that I have stripped this back to have no images whatsoever and made it very clear and simple. And that will help. Now, as I said, once you have built up your domain deliverability, and you've got credibility with the email domain in which you're sending from, then you can start adding pictures to it and they will get through. But you really have to make sure that your email is highly trusted. There are other platforms out there in which you can check with. So you can run scans to see if it is blocked anywhere, if it is moved to any blacklists or anything like that. Because sometimes if it has moved to a blacklist, what you can do is you can reach out to that company and say, look, I'm in a blacklist, highly sorry, did this because of this, won't do it again, please can you remove me from the blacklist? And generally they will for the first offense. If you continue doing it, then they won't, and you'll start damaging your email address. For us in our system, we use subdomains as our email address. So if you are using some of these software, they will say that you need to add a TXT record straight to your domain name. But what that means is if you do damage your email sendability using a marketing tool, then there's a highly likely chance that you're going to harm your other email addresses, that you're using in Google or Outlook. So when you're sending out quotes or general emails, they're going to start going to junk as well. We use subdomains, which gives you a little bit of protection. Not much. It's not going to change the value of that email address. It does a little bit by sending it out as a different type of email address. But if you do harm your domain, seriously, then it is going to affect everything that you do. So you really need to start being careful with the marketing emails that you send out, particularly in 2024. Our system comes with your typical forms as well. I should probably just show you that quickly. So in here, I'm just going to confirm that. So insights just here. In forms, I can build a form like you can with anything. And you can see, so here I got the drag and drop ability, and I can drag and drop and do whatever I want. It's really simple to do, just there. And create those. I can also create custom fields so I can add additional stuff to it. Cool. So that is that just there. Now if I go back, one other thing I just want to show you, which is important to know, is the verification. So if you are sending out a bunch of emails, the one thing you want to avoid is a high bounce rate, particularly a hard bounce rate or an error rate, which you are sending out to email addresses which don't exist. So the companies you are sending these emails to, the servers, take it serious if you are sending stuff to email addresses that don't exist. And so what will happen is you need to make sure that those email addresses that you are sending out to do exist. The reason they might not exist is one, because you buy a dirty list. So you go out to a company and say, can I have a list of 1,000 people which I can send emails to? And they send you a list which hasn't been vetted in a very long time. And those email addresses don't actually exist anymore. You might think, well, what's the harm? You know, they're just going to bounce, nothing's going to happen. But that is serious, and that can really hurt your reputation, your domain, your email sendability. And the other thing is when someone signs up with a form, they might put in the incorrect email address. One, because they just accidentally make a mistake. Instead of writing Gmail, they might write Bmail, and I've seen that happen. And the other thing is they might give you an incorrect email address, hoping that your form is a redirect, so it directs them straight to the download. They can grab the download without knowing they are not going to get any continuous emails from you because they gave the wrong email address. So to stop that happening, you need to make sure that you verify your email address. So let me just show you how you do that. So let me just go into my contacts just here. And once you are in this, you can see that I've got this little mark saying verified here, and I can re-verify it here. And if it says unverified, I can click this button just here to say verify now. And what that does is it checks that the email address is real, because if it's not, then, as I said, you're in trouble. Now, the great thing about our system is if you upload a big database, when you send out that first email, you can set it so it checks it upon sending that first email. So you might have 10,000 in your database and you might send an email campaign. But what happens is it actually only goes to 3,000, 4,000, 6,000. So only a percentage of your database. Now, you might think that's an error and it's not sending right, but it is a system protecting you because it can't verify that email address. It might try and re-verify it on the next round of emails that you sent out, and it might be able to verify it. Sometimes it just can't. But it is there to protect you. And any that it can't verify, normally after a couple of attempts, you know isn't a credible email address and shouldn't really be part of your email marketing campaign. So it gives you a good way of cleansing your data. What you can do in the contact list, you can actually strip it down to those that have been verified and those that haven't, and you can start looking at them to see if their email address is a mistake, i.e. if it says Bmail instead of Gmail, then you generally know that is an error in which you can fix, or you can try and re-verify it manually just with that one, so it spends just that time trying to verify that one document and not a bunch during a mass send out. So there's lots that you can do in order to make sure. So verification is really, really important, and it's something that a lot of companies, the big marketing companies, don't tell you about and don't get you doing, which causes and creates high bounce rates or low sendability, and you're struggling to figure out why. So that's one of the key issues. So those are the things that you really need to focus on when you are doing your email marketing in 2024. Make sure that your emails are stripped back. Definitely when you are sending out new marketing campaigns, and start building up to being able to add images in. If you want to give sending in images a go, give it a go. Maybe it'll work first time, maybe it won't. Maybe you got good deliverability with your email address and don't realize. But if you do end up in that spam box, it's hard to get yourself out. You can by speaking to any companies that might have blacklisted you. Quite often you're in a spam box, you go into spam boxes, but you haven't been blacklisted. So then what you need to work is you need to work on your open rate. So you need to figure out who can receive your email and start really niching down on sending those people your email marketing, and also the open rate. Received it and opened it and took action. And then you can drag those contacts and create a tag for them or a smart list, and then send more email campaigns back to them. So they are more likely to open future campaigns, which means that you're getting higher open rate for the percentage of emails in which you're sending, which looks good. And then you can start doing that and then start bringing other people that haven't opened your email back into your email list and start building up your email list again like that. So there's several things you can do additional in order to increase your open rate, to increase the chance of you coming out of people's spam boxes and giving more credibility to your email domain. So hopefully that helps you understand exactly what you can do and things you should be doing, and to help you achieve better statistics with your email marketing in 2024. As always, if you want to know more, do reach out to me.